Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast Dialectica. I'm Matt.
And I'm Nick.
We're
Matt has some questions for me. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so these are all show-related questions, and for our first podcast, we just thought we would test out just how things work, and we'll see how this goes.
Do you want to introduce yourself, or skill sets?
Well, I mean, to be humble, I guess I would say I know, a fair amount about the A Song of Ice and Fire book
He's
series.
only read the books 9 times.
13, but who's counting?
I've read the books once, and I've seen the show probably about twice. I'm not a Game of Thrones person, but I am an armchair historian.
So we thought it would be kind of cool to get, some different perspectives into things. But either way, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with some trivia. Like I said, these are all show questions, so if you're a show fan, you should be able to pick up on them.
Should I answer them based on what's on the show or based on what's on the book?
Well, they're more so, a lot of them are about individual people, so they're like...
but if there's a difference between the book and the show, should I do the...
Go for the show, yeah. So these
Go
are
for the show?
Yeah, these are for the show only. Okay. All right, so the first one is, who won the Hand's Tourney?
The Hand's Tourney?
Was it Sir Loras Tyrell, Sir Gregor Clegane, Sandor Clegane, or Sir Barristan Selmy?
Loras won the final joust. However, he gave the victory to Sandor Clegane.
Right.
I think that's true in the show as well as the book.
Well, I mean, see, the show...
He raised his hand up.
Yeah, it was a little ambiguous, and they never, actually state that...
Why is that the first question?
Well, no, I mean, because, it is, and they talk about it later.
Final answer, Sandor Clegane.
Right, and yeah, it is. But yeah, so, in the book, they definitely, Loras succeeds.
Yeah, he got the money from...
Yeah, and he ends up having it stolen from him by the...
It's not stolen, dude. It's credit. They gave him the money in the paper form.
Right. I don't know. I just...
They're not paying that money back.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's George R. R. Martin's statement on debt in our society and whatnot. But
he doesn't believe in paper money.
All right, so question 2. Who committed the murder of Jon Arryn? Lord Peter Baelish.
That's a tough one.
Sir Jaime Lannister, Lady Lysa Tully, or Queen Dowager Cersei Lannister?
I would put... Directly, I would say Lysa Tully is responsible. She poisoned Jon Arryn's wine. However, Peter Baelish, Littlefinger, he's the one who told her to do it. I would say, in the court of law, it would go to Lysa Tully. Lysa Tully.
Right, but you get into that whole argument, if you hire
Final
somebody
answer,
to come in,
Lysa Tully.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so it would be Lysa Tully in that case. So what is the name of the Night's Watchman Jon Snow kills north of the Wall to gain Mance Rayder's trust?
Corn half hand. Easy.
See, and here's the thing, though. For someone who just watches the show and is a shrewd watcher.
Are you talking down to our audience? Are you intelligence shaming? Are you knowledge shaming?
No, I'm just saying. I feel like, as someone who reads the books, these are a little bit more explicit.
Yeah, we're nerds.
For the show, you do have to pick up on it. Because I've actually talked to a lot of people. I've given this particular quiz to a lot of people, and they haven't been able to pick up on it. So.
Yeah, I guess. They say his name, they say his name a couple times in the show.
It's a couple times.
There's no excuses. You need to know these people.
Yeah. But that whole plot line, you kind of get lost in the Jon and Ygritte love story more so than, the Corn Half-Hand honor of the Night's Watch type deal.
Technically, he married her, according to Wildling customs.
Yeah, and
he kidnapped her. That's a wedding in Wildling society. It's like the Mongols.
Yeah, I've never quite understood that society.
Well, if you go to, where is it? Kazakhstan, they currently have those weddings. It's very strange. Basically, if you want a wife in Kazakhstan, you have to kidnap her. And, no, I'm serious. You can look this up. There's videos of it. And the wife, in order to be not a slut, the wife has to put up a good fight for whoever's trying to kidnap her. And if you cannot kidnap your wife, your to-be wife, you're not a real man. And if you do not put up a good enough fight, then you're essentially a whore. It's a very strange custom. They say it goes back to the Mongols, but historians think it actually goes back to what was it? The end of the Cold War. They're trying to get back their culture from the Soviets, and they ended up going back a little too far.
So it kind of makes you wonder, like, how much. I mean, George does study history. We know. George,
he definitely knows that. That has to be his inspiration.
Yeah. All right. So, what is the name of Daenerys Targaryen's eldest brother?
Oh, well, that's a trick question. It depends who you think Daenerys. It depends who her father is. I think that Daenerys' father is Rhaegar Targaryen. However, since I know you subscribe to R plus L equals J, the correct answer to your question would be Rhaegar is her older brother.
Well, see, I mean, I subscribe to R plus L equals J only because the plot notes are there. Like, the points, do point, not the plot, but the evidence does point to it. However, I am open to other interpretations of it. It's just the show has confirmed it, and that's one of the larger.
I think the show's wrong on this. If George told them that was the case, I think he was probably lying to them because he thinks himself a master manipulator. Well, let's stick to the questions. We'll talk about specific points later.
So for the show, I guess, in show canon,
her older brother, according to the theory you subscribe to, Rhaegar Targaryen.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so here's a little bit of a tough one. Now, even for a book reader, this is a bit of a tougher one because in the book and show, this is different. Okay.
Shit.
Who wore Lord Renly Baratheon's armor during the Battle of the Blackwater?
Someone other than is Loras.
Final answer?
In the show, I don't know who else it would be. It was Loras in the books, I'm almost certain. Oh, he's giving me a face.
Final answer about that one?
All right, final answer, Loras Tyrell.
Okay, yeah, in the show it was Loras, and there is that brief scene where after the battle when Tywin and the Tyrell come into the throne room when Cersei's about to poison Tommen, you see Loras in Renly's armor. And then I believe the High Sparrow mentions it at some point, or later on somebody mentions that he wore the armor.
That Renly was the savior of the city.
Yeah, however, in the book it's a little more complicated. Like Garland Tyrell, Loras is...
I think it was Garland who wore it.
Oh, it was definitely Garland. And they talk about... Yeah, because Loras wasn't big enough to wear Renly's armor. You got to remember, Renly's a Baratheon. Like, I mean...
Yeah, he's got those linebacker jeans.
Yeah, so he's got a bigger build. So, I mean, and Loras wasn't big enough to wear, so Garland had to. And... Yeah. Well, and the show kind of cut out the other...
It reminds me of when Jaime was trying to get Brienne mad. He's like, oh, he certainly wouldn't like a woman like you. He like really little boys like Loras Tyrell.
It's funny because Brienne is just utterly infatuated by pretty boys herself. So.
Is she?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
what
she
pretty
loves.
boys does Brienne like?
Well, Renly is definitely he's interested in silks and things like that, and Jaime is definitely a pretty boy. I mean, she falls for the pretty boy.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All right, what is the name of the maester who drinks poison intended for Lady Melisandre on Dragonstone?
I probably won't pronounce it right, but it's Master Crescent.
Final answer.
Master Crescent.
I say Crescent, but a lot of my pronunciation of things is based on, like, Roy Dotrice's, audiobook.
Well, he calls Melisandre Melisandre.
Which is Petire, or that kind of...
That is kind of how it's spelled.
Or Brian, or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard other...
He's a fun voice actor.
But even George R. R. Martin himself, I've heard interviews of him where he said Stannis and Stannis and he's just Stannis and all this kind of stuff. So, I don't think he even cares about pronunciation.
It's kind of funny, with him. He actually isn't very specific about the names of his characters. Like, he wrote, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, he wrote a lot of the book without giving a lot of the characters their final names. and then he kind of added their names a little bit later.
Well, so example, there's a knight called Sir Shet. And then there's another knight, and it's like a son or it's a brother or something. It's in the appendix, and it's Sir Other Shet. So, I mean, you got to think: is George leaving his placeholder in there, or is there actually Sir Other Shet? And
Whoever his editor is has to be fired.
well, I mean, there's
There's
thousands of characters, and I mean,
that's your job as an editor,
right?
You probably should have 3 editors.
But either
at
way,
least.
I mean, like it's like Drinkwater. I mean, granted, Drinkwater is a major character in Quentin's story, but like either way, like that's a stupid
Drinkwater's
name.
fine. It's fine. It's not great, but I mean, there's some awful names in the
Oh, he's got a lot of like sexual innuendos. His name's Shagwell, and
Well, no, yeah. There's a character called Gene Poole. It's a little hint to what he thinks is important.
Yeah. See, well, I mean, but a lot of his other works.
He's all about genetics.
A lot of his other works. I mean, the Prometheans are all about genetics and giving themselves longer lives.
I've seen that movie.
Well, no, this is. I mean, it's in his Thousand Worlds universe. He's got a planet that the Prometheans are all about.
What is this Thousand Worlds?
Oh, it's what George wrote for most of his career.
He's written other books.
Oh yeah.
Explain this.
I mean, he's an old man. He's been writing since the '60s, and a lot of his books were actually science fiction, and they were a good chunk of them take place in this place called the Thousand Worlds universe. I mean,
Are you saying that Westeros may be part of these Thousand Worlds? That this is one planet amongst many?
Well, George himself has said that Westeros is not a Thousand Worlds planet, but I mean, he never said that Planetos wasn't. I mean, Westeros isn't a planet, but that's semantics.
Oh, you grammar Nazi.
And I don't know. I think it would be cool, and I would love it for the continuity of his work. However, I
doubt it.
I doubt it. I really do.
I think my prediction is that he's been writing the same characters again and again and again. Like, I haven't read all his other works. I read like a couple. And I've listened to people talk about it. I do know that Tyrion shows up a couple of times in his other books.
Tyrion shows up in a lot of his books.
And, like, in completely different, like, universes. This is just like a drunk dwarf, And I think this is kind of his magnum opus. He's been telling the same story again and again, and this is his final version of that big story.
Well, I mean, even if it's not part of the Thousand Worlds, and specifically, he's probably still reusing some of the same themes and things. Yeah. And while it might be magic, it might be actual magic. I mean, the magic this time just might be the instrument that he uses to get across his message, or whereas it's the same effect that the science fiction or the superhuman powers have in like his science fiction. It's just called magic this time, and not.
We'll talk about this more another time. Let's finish up this.
Okay.
Or this questionnaire.
So, what was the name of the ancestral sword of House Stark?
Oh, that'd be ice.
Okay. What was it broken down into?
Oh, you dick. All right. Well, Tywin had it melted down into 2 swords. The 2 and Bright Roar was the original that they lost, and the ice got turned into Widow's Wail, and then Jaime gave his to Brienne, and she gave it the worst name ever, which was Oathkeeper. You're about to be killed by Oathkeeper. Oh no, Oathkeeper. That doesn't sound very deadly.
To be fair, Widow's Wail is kind of a terrible
That's
name
fine.
for swords too.
It makes families into widows.
Well, some of the other swords have pretty crappy names as well, like Dark Sister. I mean,
Dark Sister sounds cool. It flows off the tongue.
I suppose, but
what's a cool sword name?
The coolest sword name in the series? Oh gosh, Red Rain's kind of cool.
Red Rain. Ah, yeah. Blood coming down. It's a Red Rain.
Lady Forlorn.
What? That's not
cool. Sort of House Corbray.
How do you know this?
I have way too much time on my hands. I really
You
do.
need to read some other books. In the time you've read this series 13 times, I've read so many other books. All right, next question.
All right. What is the name of the seat of House Tully?
My eyes just widened. I wasn't ready for that one. Tully? Oh, River Run.
Yeah.
I got it.
I really need to come up with like more of a book quiz for you.
Okay. These are softballs for me. I can do that.
What is the name of King Stannis Baratheon's queen?
Selyse.
Last name?
Selyse Florent.
Mm-hmm.
And she's your favorite, and Florents are your favorite house for no good reason.
Well, I have perfectly good reason. I mean,
name one.
Okay, so Samwell Tarly
Never mind.
is...
We'll talk about it another time.
What is the name of the bride married at the Red Wedding?
Oh. Edmure Tully.
Not a bride.
Oh, it's gonna.
I don't think Westeros is that progressive.
The last
yet.
name is Frey, and the first name's gonna be something along the lines of Walder. All right, final answer. No, it's not. It's not a Walder.
I'll give you a hint. She's half Rosby.
That doesn't help me.
Well, I mean,
she's pretty, which means she's probably not a real Frey.
well, no, she is a Frey. It's just that she's super far down the line of succession.
It's a weird pact to accept.
What? No, I mean,
I guess
they really had no choice. Well, that's what I'm saying. So they were blinded. I mean, Edmure was blinded by how pretty he was, or she was. And again, I don't think Westeros is that progressive. But they didn't.
Do I get 4 options of who?
I mean, if you want to use, I have 4 options. If you're.
I don't know it, so give me the 4 options.
Okay.
Now,
I've got Lady Walda Frey, Lady Jean Westerling, Lady Rosalind Frey, or Lady Amy Frey.
It's Rosalind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
What was the name of Tyrion's first wife?
Oh, is it the same in the book and the show?
Yes.
Taisha.
Yeah.
And she's so annoying.
That's the thing. It's a character we've never even met, but I don't even want to meet her.
Motivating force for one of our favorite characters.
And the thing is, though, it's not even like a motivating force until like after Storm of Swords. Like he doesn't really think about her.
When he gets Shay, he mentions her, doesn't he?
Well, he mentions her to Braun.
Which means Shay knows.
Which means Shay knows, yeah, because I mean...
They're both spies of Varys.
That's probably true, yeah. But but that's the thing, like, he doesn't really mention her or think about her very often.
Well, he never really had to deal with love at all until then.
Well, yeah, I guess. I'm just saying, I think, like, if he was truly that... I mean, we've all been through breakups. You kind of inadvertently, if you're still interested in somebody, you kind of inadvertently mention them.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
This is a while ago. Yeah. Do you think she'll ever show up?
I hope not.
I hope she does.
I don't because
I hope she shows up and it just breaks Tyrion's heart.
Well, I mean, Tyrion, a lot of his thing is he's just lovesick. I mean, he's
he'll teach him a lesson. He'll be like Jorah's wife, how she's now. He gave up everything for his wife, and now she's a prostitute.
But like, what honestly would she bring to the story? I mean, I
don't know. He's gonna surprise.
And then what would they say to each other? Like, oh hey, last time I saw you, I just had sex with you after my entire family's guard just got done with you.
Oh, did he have sex with her afterwards?
Oh yeah, he's had sex with her afterwards.
Well, everyone was watching.
I gotta assume that Tywin watched him have sex with her.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess what do you really have to say? I mean, like, because she would not want to see him.
I think she's alive.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean,
I don't think he would have killed her.
I just don't see the point of bringing her back up. I mean, I honestly,
We'll find out.
All right. So I called this a bonus question. So this would be super hard for somebody who hasn't read the books because they're only mentioned in passing, and even when you see these characters, their names aren't brought up.
Okay.
Okay. So name the 3 Kingsguard knights that died at the Tower of Joy. And see, this is where the show. This is where the show is kind of funny because like earlier seasons when they mention the Tower of Joy, they talk about the third guy, but when you actually see the flashback, there's only 2 of them.
All right, I think I know the answer to this, but in order before I give you my answer, I want you to recite from memory, from the beginning of that chapter till the point where their names were said. Are you capable of performing this feat?
Not verbatim, but I can kind of get it close.
Do I have? All right, go.
He dreamt an old dream.
To do it in the Roy Detroit.
No, I'm not going to do that. No. See, the problem, because I mean, dreamt an old dream. 3 knights in white clothes, and a tower long fallen, and Lyanna in a bed of blood. In the dream, his friends rode with him, as they had in life. Proud Martin Cassell. Yeah. Anyways, I could go on, but
and then the 7 facing 3.
Yeah.
The 3 are Sir Gerald Hightower,
the White Bull,
the White Bull, Sir Oswald Went, and Sir Arthur Dane were the 3 knights.
And see, like I said, this was the show. I think, and I don't know if this was just a
Sir Arthur Dane. If you remember, he was the one who had that awesome sword fight.
Right, and I don't know if they just used 2 people just because it made.
Oh yeah, there was only 2 in the
show.
And
so there was only 2, but they talked about 3 earlier on in the show, like when they're in the White Tower, and I think it's just. I think the reason why is because they introduced a whole bunch of Ned's friends that they don't give names. So like I think by cutting down to 2, I'm sure it was a choreography thing. I'm sure it was easier to focus on because they kill off Oswald Went pretty dang quick.
Well, they wanted to give Arthur Dane a great fight scene because he's the best fighter maybe ever.
Right. So I mean, I don't think that the show. I don't think like Gerald Hightower is like off in the tower or something like that. I think that they just didn't include him.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe he'll show up. I highly doubt it. I really hope that the show doesn't just drop that plot. You know, I mean, like
that plot is so long gone. That was a treat for book readers.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what's the point of bringing back the Tower of Joy if they don't have more to talk about it.
It's a piece of candy they were throwing out to book readers who wanted something.
Yeah,
they were annoyed about that whole season.
Because like I just kind of feel like there's more to it. You know, why did Ned go to Starfall? All that kind of stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, but the show's never going to get into that.
Like
casual viewers of the show, they're not like, "What's Starfall?"
Right, but I mean, like people want to know what Jon's parentage is. So if they don't revisit that, then.
Well, they probably just wanted to establish what Jon's parentage is to explain why he's going to ride a dragon later on this season. This is filmed at, episode 3 of season 7?
I really hope he doesn't ride a dragon.
And so Jon's going to be driving... Jon's going to be riding a dragon, and then Daenerys is going to be riding a dragon, and Tyrion's going to ride a dragon as well, and they're all going to fly off into the sunset.
And then Tyrion's going to be hand of the king, and Brienne's going to be Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, and
Jon and Dany are going to get married.
And they're all going to live happily ever after, and have plenty of babies, and everything's going to be peachy dory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly what George envisioned in his anti-war.
Let's just write another Harry Potter, another
this is
Star
why
Wars.
This is like for all the if anybody's actually watching this, any show fans, the books are very different in tone and theme.
Well, George likes to write in gray characters. I mean, these characters are not gray anymore.
Yeah, in the first couple of seasons, there's a lot of debatable, morally confused characters, and now it's just got to go kill some ice zombies.
Cersei might as well have a Dr. Evil-esque laugh. You know, I just her Mwah, or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's comical
And
almost.
a twirling mustache. And
Exactly.
I like to do evil things because it feels good.
No, I remember. I remember it was about your children.
It was
that
about
you
your
loved
children.
your
You loved your
children so
children.
much that
Or you needed Joffrey on the throne for the Lannister-Stark war. It's just not a...
all right.
All right, last
this is the
question.
final
This is the
question.
final question. Okay, this one's for all the points, you know.
All right.
What did Davos Seaworth do to earn his knighthood?
Davos Seaworth, the Onion Knight, smuggled onions, some salted pork, and some other foods into the siege of Storm's End during Robert's rebellion. And thanks to his good deeds, they chopped off his fingertips and rewarded him with a knighthood and some lands, and that's how he became Sir Davos of the New House Seaworth.
Right. I mean, Davos is... Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a complete right answer to that question. Stannis cuts his fingers off as well. I mean, Davos actually, though, is probably one of my favorite characters.
He seems to be the most moral.
Well,
He's up there. He doesn't do anything evil.
But see, there's like a the scene where Davos escorts Melisandre underneath Storm's End to release
That was the first what the fuck moment of the show.
the Shadow Baby. Well, in the book, actually, he talks about like it's the light versus darkness debate, and he has like a bit of a I wouldn't call it maybe a religious conversation with Melisandre about like how she's an absolutist, you know, you're either with me or against me type deal. And Davos kind of says, well, no, I've done good things in my life and I've done bad things and my parts are mixed, you know, and
If the onion has some rot, then you cannot eat it. You can't carve around the rot.
well, and
The
you
onion
have
is rotted or it's not.
I mean, you absolutely can. Like, I mean, earlier this week I bought an onion and it, you know, had a little bit of a bruise on it, and I just used the rest of the onion. And even Sam, the George R. R. Martin character, later on in the book, picks up a rotten onion. He just cuts off the bad part and
Does
eats
he
it.
really?
Yeah.
God, George just everything wraps around.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why I like Davos, though, because like that's what George is all about. Is, you know, I mean, you got good people and you got bad
But
people.
what does he do wrong? He's not a very morally great character.
Davos? I mean, he talks about how he loves his wife, but he's known other women. You know,
But before his wife,
he was a smuggler.
yeah, I mean,
So I mean, like based upon the
That's not-
laws
that's
of
not-
the Seven Kingdoms, it's illegal.
you're not allowed to have sex with more than one woman.
Well, no. I'm talking about his smuggling. He avoids the taxes. That's what he was doing, and people paid him to avoid taxes. And he was smuggling goods that pirates stole. So I mean,
Well, as a libertarian, I'm a full belief in free trade.
but that's the thing, though. But I mean,
He's a
it's
morally upright individual.
well, but either way, that's against the law. And so I mean, that's what I'm saying. So he's done good things. He's done bad things, just like all of us, and we can relate to him. That's why I like Davos.
Is there anyone who hasn't done anything bad?
In the series, I don't think so.
There's probably some minor character. Who's,
Well, that's only because you haven't heard about their whole life. I'm sure they stole something from somebody at some point, or, as Tyrion said, like jacked off in his turtle soup that his sister ate, or something like that.
Well, on that note, let's finish this episode 1 of called Dialectica, where we talk about things.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for sticking with us. If you
Let's see if
have,
anybody actually listens to this. See you next time, guys.
sounds good.